Hello mates, and welcome to episode 0 of our brand new show, The Podcast of Us. This is a weekly podcast covering all things The Last of Us, covering of course the TV show, but also revisiting the 2 games that have been under the same name. My name's Matt from Mateus Players, linked down below, and I'm joined today, and hopefully every day, by Drew of Drewdaism. Do you want to say hello, Drew?
Hello everyone.
He's also linked down below, and I'm also joined today by Nathan from Nothing. Hello, Nathan.
Oh, I've got nothing.
You really don't. It's I like the rule of 3 with things, and there's going to be a link for my Twitch channel down there. There's going to be a link to Drew's YouTube channel down there, and there's literally going to be not a link for you, Nathan.
Yeah, if you could just leave a space for me with a couple of in between a bit of asterisks, that'd be great. Thanks.
Yeah, no problem. Like a kind of like an insert here kind of thing.
Yeah, I'll find something that I can put there in a future.
Fantastic. So, what is episode 0 all about? Today, we're going to be kind of discussing, I guess, the pre-show. Would you say it's like kind of the prequel to the sequel, guys?
Yeah. It's the TV show's coming out. It's based on the games, and we don't know fully what it's going to be because no one's seen it yet. So we're going to discuss what we hope is going to be included and involved, and what we hope to see, and what we don't want to see.
Fantastic. And Drew, while I've got you there, would you like to talk us through what is The Last of Us? Because some people might be listening to this or watching this on Twitch or YouTube, link down below. They might be coming in from completely fresh-faced, not ever heard anything from The Last of Us, don't know what's going on. There's a TV show about a video game that they've heard about. So can you give us like a brief, what is The Last of Us?
I'd love to, Matt. Thank you very much for asking. Hello, everyone. So basically, The Last of Us was a PlayStation exclusive game that came out in 2013. And what that was a game where we saw Joel and Ellie, a pair connected through the harshest of the world they live in, and they are forced to endure brutal circumstances and ruthless killers on a trek across a post-pandemic America. Now, in a ravaged civilization where infected and hardened survivors run rampant, Joel, a weary protagonist, is hired to smuggle the 14-year-old Ellie out of a military quarantine zone. However, what starts as a small job soon transforms into a brutal cross-country journey. Now, that sounded fantastic.
It did.
I completely ripped that for someone else.
I was about to say, did you bring that up top of your head, or did you? Where did you steal that from?
I pretty much Googled what the thing was for The Last of Us because I thought they would be able to describe it a lot better. But it's a great story. It's a great game. You should all watch it, and I hope they bring this into the TV series. But yeah, basically, everyone should play it. It's great.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to take anything away from the show playing the game. I think whether you come from it without playing the game at all or knowing what it is at all, or you've played the game and you love it, I think either way, you're in for a treat, I hope.
That's the thing about this show, about being episode 0, is that we don't know if it's good or bad yet. We're kind of going to be, a lot of this is going to be a lot of speculating about, I hope they do this, I hope they do that. And if they don't do that, not a problem. But maybe if they do and we don't like how they've done it, it's going to make episode 1 really, really awkward.
Yeah. So, we'll see. But it's getting good reviews so far. So far, as it stands, before it's even come out, on IMDb, I believe it's a 9.6 score. And I'm pretty sure he got almost a perfect score on Rotten Tomatoes. So
9.6.
Yeah. So it's there's potential, huge potential. I'm excited for it.
I think that's what we have to get kind of at the end of the day. Is that I might say a couple of things during the entire line of this show, which is probably going to be about 10 episodes long. If there's 9 episodes of the TV show, all ranging from what is it, hour and 45 through to 40 minutes, is kind of the episode list.
Yeah.
A lot of content to get through.
So I'm going to say something that I'm probably going to regret at some point, but at the end of the day, I am a huge fan of the games. I'm very excited for the TV show. I'm just worried about a couple of bits, but we're going to come to those. We will come to those. Nathan, can you go into maybe what we might already know about the show? I know we've got a couple of, we know who our main characters are. We know potentially a little bit of trivia about them, but have you got anything about the directors, maybe the writers, anything they've worked on previously?
Yeah. So in terms of who is directing the show, so where is this coming from? So it's written by Neil Druckmann, as you would expect. I mean, that's a good sign, I would think, that Neil Druckmann, who's co-founded and written the games, he's going to be at the helm of the show. So hopefully that means good things for it staying faithful, fingers crossed. to the world that we know. And also, there's a guy called Craig Mazin or Mazin. Haven't heard of him before, but he is the director and also the co-writer for the show as well. This Craig Mazin fella has worked on Mythic Quest. I don't know if anyone knows Mythic Quest. Is Rob McElhenney from Always Sunny. That's his like new show. And he's also worked on Chernobyl and some of the scary movies in the past as well.
Oh wow.
So he does have a bit of a resume. So
Chernobyl was pretty good, to be fair.
I've never watched Chernobyl. I'm sorry to say.
I haven't watched Chernobyl, but I've heard good bits about it.
Is it kind of like a spooky thing, scary thing, Drew?
No, it's based on the whole nuclear disaster of Chernobyl. It's like a true story. It's based on true events, and basically how it's just to go off. The best thing is in Chernobyl is right at the start where someone goes up to the big head guy and goes, "Yeah, that nuclear reactor that you said wasn't going to blow up, it's just blown up." And he literally goes, "No, it hasn't." And he's like, "No, it has. He's blown out." And he goes, "No," and he sends someone else down. And the second guy comes back and goes like, "No, it has blown up." It's like, "You're both dickheads. It hasn't blown up." And then he leaves it for like hours, and it's quite alarming how long they left it before he went, "Oh yeah, that big hole in the floor. Yeah, that's not supposed to be there." It's quite. You should watch it. Honestly, it's brilliant. Just for that first bit of how they were just refused to believe it. They went, "That's all right though, because the Richter scale, like it only goes up to on the nuclear readings, only goes up to 7, so it's not a big deal." And it's like, "Yeah, but that's maxed out. You don't know if it's 15 or 100.
God.
It only goes up 7." They're like, "Oh, it didn't think about that." Yes, honestly. So yeah, no, Chernobyl was very good. I've digressed completely. Like 5 minutes in to talk about another TV show.
No, where I was going
No.
with this was that if Neil Druckmann's kind of helped towards the whole like creation of Chernobyl, and it was quite. I remember a lot of people talking about it. It was quite the hit.
Craig did Chernobyl, I think. Was it
Craig did Chernobyl, yeah.
Yeah, not Neil.
Damn. That's me not listening to Nathan. You see, already 5 minutes in, turned off.
That's it. Let's restart the whole
Restart
thing.
it,
Reroll,
restart
yeah.
it. But Druckmann did help with the games, didn't he? And he's kind of
Druckmann created them, didn't he? Didn't he write them?
Yeah. It was. I think in part 1, it was mainly Neil Druckmann and Bruce Straley, who was behind it, and Bruce Straley left into number 1. Going into part 2, Neil Druckmann was still there. Hallie Gross came in, and a few other writers as well for part 2. So
I mean, that's got to be quite a positive sign that the guy who created this universe and delivered it in a video game and now kind of bringing it over to the TV screen is kind of heading it up. That's got to be a good positive thing, right?
Oh, yeah. You hope so. There's concern there because as much as I'm keen for the first series, which they are going to base on the first game, Neil Druckmann has said that he is only interested in adapting the existing games and won't venture away from the source material. Now, I'm all here for that, but if the first season is the first game and then the second season's the second game, I think that could be a big mistake on his part. But we won't know about that until nearer the time. But that's what I'm worried about. My first concern. There you go. My first concern.
Someone ding that up on the list right there. Someone ding that up. That is a major concern of mine as well. I think it's great that he's kind of sticking to the source material, but with only 2 games, and I guess they're pretty beefy games. They're pretty long, but there's not a whole lot to maybe go off of. I find personally.
I don't know if it's not a spoiler, but between part 1 and part 2, there is a time jump. And I just feel that if they do that at the end of season 1 and then do that time jump to get the part 2 of the game, there's so much potential of that in between stage that they could miss out on, and for a TV show. So we'll see. But then they could completely Game of Thrones it with stuff that they haven't got no material they've got, make it up on the fly, and screw the whole thing up. So who knows? I don't know what will be for the best.
I really hope not. I really hope not. And what a fantastic segue, Drew, talking about Game of Thrones. Nathan, can you talk us through who our leading man is? Pedro, playing Joel, who was in Game of Thrones. That's my segue there, ladies and gents, if you're wondering where I was going with that.
Nice.
That's
Thank you very much. Thank you.
In terms of who our Joel's going to be, Pedro Pascal, Joel Miller. I haven't seen a lot of his previous stuff, apart from Game of Thrones, and clips here and there of Narcos. But apart from that, he's been in things like The Mandalorian, Wonder Woman, Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent with Nicolas Cage. Narcos, Game of Thrones as well.
A fan, were you?
Yeah.
Yeah, just a little bit.
But yeah, no. So I mean, he's no stranger to film and screen. He's been around for ages. With all the
God, sorry.
so yeah, like with all the picks for Joel, like it's one of those things where I haven't seen enough of his stuff to say that he wouldn't be a good Joel. I have seen him do some serious roles because I know in Game of Thrones he was like very like cheeky chappy, and then when you compare that with what Joel's like, you're kind of thinking, are we going to get the same kind of cheeky chappy come through and kind of maybe have a bit of a different vibe? But
He doesn't look rugged
know.
enough for me. This is one of my main concerns.
Do you think?
I just don't think. We're looking at a picture of him right now, and he's in the gear. He's got his shotgun slung across his shoulder. He looks grizzled, yes, but in my eyes, I just don't see him as Joel. I mean, it was great in Game of Thrones. It was brilliant. He was a great character. Then he got his head smushed in. It was great. In The Mandalorian, at some point, he's probably going to get shot in the head, get his head smushed in, and we all know what happens in part 2 of Last of Us. You know, I'm starting to see a bit of a pattern here for the type of roles that he takes on, but it's fine. You know, did they have anyone else in mind?
I believe you're saying that. We had so many discussions.
No.
Okay, fine. If this is where we're going,
they're off, right?
We can post it. I can take it out and post. It's fine. It's fine.
Pedro Pascal. I've spoken to a lot of people because I'm like, oh, Last of Us coming out. I'm really excited. And they're like, oh, I've seen the adverts. It's that Pedro Pascal's in it. I think he's going to draw in a lot of people that aren't fans of Last of Us. I don't even know what they are, what it is. And I think he's going to draw people to the TV show because people seem to be fans of Pedro Pascal, which is good. I think he does look quite like Joel. I'm quite pleased with it. I think Hugh Jackman would have been quite a solid thing.
Yeah.
However, Pedro, if you are concerned Pedro Pascal isn't rugged enough, would you like to hear someone who was genuinely considered for the role of Joel as part of this TV show?
Absolutely.
Yeah, go for it. Go on.
Keanu Reeves.
No.
Now,
Genuinely.
we all love Keanu Reeves. He's a stand-up guy. Big fan of him. Big fan of his work. Loved him. He could not do Joel. In my opinion. And I'm sorry, but I do not see it. I'm so happy they've gone with Pedro for this.
Comparing Keanu Reeves to Pedro. No, Pedro will win every time. Again, fantastic guy, Keanu Reeves. If you're listening, I know you're a big fan of us. Appreciate you being here. But
send us one of your motorcycles.
Absolutely. And no, I can't. Did they have anyone else in mind? Like, did they get to a point where it was like it was Pedro or this person? Did they get like a shortlist down?
Oh, I don't really know. I know Hugh Jackman was definitely in there. Keanu Reeves. I've forgotten the other ones. But to be honest, as soon as I saw Keanu Reeves, I just blocked everything else out. I was like, you're joking.
Hugh Jackman probably didn't take it because there wasn't a singing role. I know he loves a bit of singing now. He does love some singing.
Where's the lions and the tigers, you dick? Oh, Christ.
We've got other people who was considered for Joel here. Tom Hardy was considered for Joel.
He's too strong. Too strong.
Harrison Ford, Chris Hemsworth, Keanu Reeves.
Sorry, do you know Harrison Ford? Like, maybe not now. No disrespect to him, but back in
series.
Again, another huge fan. So watch what you're saying.
But like a few. But if it was a few, I think he's too old now, unfortunately. But a few years ago, he probably could have done it. I can see that.
David Harbour, John Hamm, Josh Brolin, Gerard Butler,
Gerard Butler, I could see. John Bernthal, you could do. Can't have Shane from Walking Dead as Joel.
Yeah, that'd be kind of too.
What about Batista?
No weapons required. Just like walking in with his natural guns, smashing up.
It's playing on hard mode. Yeah.
You couldn't have Thor either.
No. and then just Michael Fassbender, who's been in Inglourious Bastards and X-Men and an Alien kind of a film.
No,
And,
I'm happy with Pedro.
But yeah, so no, I've seen some of Pedro's like serious acting, and he can. I think he's a genuinely good actor, and I think he can. I think he's one of those people that can really flip your perspective. You see him in one thing, and then you see him in another thing, and I think he can be a completely different person. So I'm cautiously optimistic about him. Fingers crossed.
Fantastic.
Do you know who? So,
Go on.
to come off of Joel and onto someone else, and I feel bad because she has stayed away from social media because people have already given her a bit of.
Oh, you're joking.
Slack. Yeah, people are already saying she can't do it. But I'm hoping for big things from Bella Ramsey, who's playing Ellie in the TV show. Now, I've got no problem with the actor Bella Ramsey playing the role. I just hope she can portray. Ellie is a very, would you say, unique, charismatic character in the game.
Yeah.
And you definitely feel that bond between her and Joel. I've never really seen any of Bella's previous work. Again, she's from Game of Thrones. She had a short role, didn't she? I'm not too hot on the Game of Thrones, but she didn't have a big role.
She didn't have a big role, but she was in it frequently enough to kind of get an idea.
She took down a giant, mate. She took down an ice giant. All right, she's capable.
Oh, she did. Yeah,
she can do a clicker easy.
We didn't. Whoa. Yeah, we definitely didn't. We definitely didn't see like the funny, charismatic side of her kind of. But then again, I suppose she was definitely limited to that character, which was quite the opposite.
But this is it. But on the trailer, they have this thing where they're talking about transporting Ellie, and they're worried about her like turning, and she like, makes a joke. It didn't come across to me that well on. It didn't come across that well on the trailers for me. I didn't find it funny or cheeky or charismatic. Sorry, I didn't.
No, and do you know what? That's okay that you feel that way. That's okay.
I'm hoping I'm wrong. I really am, because that is one of the biggest things about this show to work. You have to believe the relationship between Joel and Ellie.
Yep,
and
agreed.
That bond, and that is what makes the story as you go on. If they can't get, if they don't have that connection. Electricity.
I get you. Yep. Chemistry.
Yeah, the chemistry.
Chemistry. Yeah. Thank you. The chemistry.
The sexual chemistry. Yeah.
No, you can't. No, she's Matthew.
Sorry,
please.
I'm sorry.
But no, if they haven't got that chemistry, I don't feel it'll work.
Like when you're watching these shows, it's the suspension of disbelief, isn't it? So you kind of you watch these shows and you just kind of forget that everything's all kind of all kind of made up. And if you start questioning things or sensing like kind of bad acting or disingenuine kind of things, then that can take you out of it a bit. I'm hoping it's to be honest, like I haven't really. That's the only thing I've seen. I think she's been in some other things as well. Just looking here. Previously been in His Dark Materials, Requiem, and recently in the last few years, if you look at her IMDb, she's been killing it, like with everything that she's been in. She's had lots of credits and stuff like that. So I haven't actually looked at her range of what she's done, and I'm sure the Game of Thrones character was quite limiting. And she was also a fair bit younger when she played that as well. That was like good 7 years ago, and she's only like 20.
She is 19. So she was born in 2003.
Fair enough. So it's like I suppose she was kind of like a child actor then, and she's kind of been a lot more stuff recently. So yeah, I'm just wondering whether it's the case where when actors are on set, it takes a while for them to like click and like know what the chemistry is, know what the story is. And maybe it gels together in later episodes. So
there's a lot of stuff people seeing them on like the red carpets and like interviews about it, and them two together, Pedro and Bella, and apparently the chemistry is there off the camera as well. Like you can see there's like that, which is good. And like I say, I really don't mean to shit on Bella Ramsey. I cannot explain to you how much I want this TV show to work. I really fucking want the TV show to work. I love the games. I'm gonna be watching it with my girlfriend as well. I'm hoping she's gonna like get captivated by it all. So I really do want this to work. But that was one little concern. She didn't come across as Ellie. But like I say, I really hope I'm wrong. I hope she smashes it, and I can't wait to fucking watch this TV show, man.
I think she will smash it. Yeah. I think she will smash it. To hear such
I'm-
positive
I'm-
things from off the TV show where they've got such chemistry, and then she's playing now a character who's now met a different character, and the chemistry doesn't maybe have to be there. The fact that the chemistry wasn't there in that little bit of a trailer that we've all seen is possibly an incredibly positive thing. That she's such an incredible actress that she can kind of come across as that socially awkward. What are they 14? She 14 in the game?
She's 14 in the
Yeah,
game. Yeah,
that socially awkward 14-year-old who's now just been smuggled or being about to be smuggled by a complete stranger.
Yeah, I mean, fair play to Ellie as a character. I mean, like, to be that charismatic in that kind of world and go through the shit she has to go through, to be busting jokes, yeah, gallows humour. I'm here for it. I appreciate it. I like it. So yeah, all for it. Who else did we have? Oh, sorry, I've got another casting thing that really took me by surprise. So just to go back for the role of Ellie, Maisie Williams was considered for Ellie. Arya Stark from Game of Thrones. I don't think she could have done it.
No, I don't think so.
I do think Bella's a better pick than Maisie Williams.
I think Bella, yeah. Like if I had to pick those two, yeah, I think Bella would suit the role better. Yeah, from what I've seen.
And Marlene. Do you have any idea? Do you know who was considered for the role of Marlene?
Oh, we're going to Marlene now. Are we jumping over to Marlene?
Yeah, it's just because I've just got this on my notes because these are the ones that really stood out for me to be like, are you fucking joking?
Go on then.
Go on.
Jada Pinkett Smith.
Is she? I didn't know she was an actor. She's an actor.
She's an actor, mate.
I didn't even know she was an actor.
She was in Matrix 2, wasn't she? Matrix. Is it Reloaded? Was it Reloaded? Is it Reloaded? What was Matrix 2 called? It wasn't Revolutions.
20 years ago, mate.
Anyway, don't matter. But yeah, Jada Pinkett Smith, and I don't think I don't like her.
No, she hasn't had the best public rep recently, has she? No, it's.
I'm not a fan, so I'm glad.
She wasn't on the shortlist, was she? Like, oh gosh.
She was considered for Marlene, and I don't know how I feel about it. No, I'm not a big fan of her. Don't appreciate what she's doing to Will. And
another big fan.
Like
thanks for stopping by, Will. Really appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah. Not a fan of her persona or
her vibe. Just her vibe.
I'm glad she's out of it.
Well, I mean, we don't have to worry about that because I mean, we might as well. Good segue into Marlene.
Absolutely.
Who's being played by Marlene? They've Merle Dendridge, probably butchered that pronunciation, but yeah, she was the mocap and actress for the Marlene in part 1 and part 2.
Sorry. Mocap, is that motion capture?
Motion capture, yeah.
Yeah,
so,
with like the ping pong balls on their body.
They were the voice, and they were also the person in the suit for all the cinematics as well.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think a lot. Yeah, I think pretty much most of the people who did the voice acting also actually physically were in the mocap suits, being part of the cinematics.
Yeah.
So she's reprising her role, which is great. I mean, I thought she was really good, and she's had a lot of game-related work. She was voice acting in all of the Half-Life series. Been in Last of Us part 1 and part 2, other various game credits, series Greenleaf. She was in Sons of Anarchy as well for a few seasons. I don't remember her character, I'm afraid, but yeah, no, she's got a lot of credits going back a long time. But I think she's already shown that she's a good Marlene, and I think that's just going to translate into the show. Because it's the Marlene that everyone knows. For those who
we're all agreed on one character so far.
I think it's an incredibly lucky opportunity to be like, oh, I've mocapped in this game, and now I get to play that person in a TV show, and I think it's fantastic. Yeah, I think it's incredible.
Yeah, no,
because the motion capture for Joel and Ellie in the game, they're not cast as roles, but they are playing other characters in the TV series.
Are they really?
Yeah, Troy Baker and I've forgotten the other one.
Ashley Johnson.
That's the one.
So Troy Baker is going who voiced and played Joel in the games, is going to play a guy called James.
Nice, yep.
And he's going to be one of David's crew. And I'm sure we'll get onto that later in the series, who David is and what his crew does. Ashley Johnson. is moving up a generation and playing Anna Williams, who is Ellie's mum. So no, that's gonna be good.
Wait, hold on.
Yeah, hang on.
Ellie's
Wait, what?
mum wasn't in the game.
Well,
He doesn't.
She
He
was.
doesn't like change. I don't like this.
I'm already out. I'm tapping.
She was in the games, but only in notes and descriptions of stuff like that. But there was plenty of mention of her relationship and contact.
Oh, she's
with
going to be part of
with
flashbacks,
Marlene.
isn't she?
So yeah, I think it sounds like she's got a bit of a role here. So
So
yeah,
bored
but
of flashbacks, guys. So
when
bored.
when Ashley Johnson speaks, I just hear Ellie. So I think it's going to be like trying to disassociate yourself from that. But
She's going to be flashback talking to Marlene, going, "Gee, Joel."
Jeez, honestly, if they drop that line at any point during this show, okay, any point, if I hear, "Geez, Joel," that's it. I'm standing up. I'm clapping. I am just. This is it, guys. This is it. And then wink directly into the camera. I'll pass out. I will pass out.
we have for Tess, we've got a lady called Anna Torv as. When I'm looking through all these credits, I don't realize that all of these characters actually have like full names. Teresa, Tess, Servapoulos or Servapoulos.
Well done.
Previously been in Mindhunter, Fringe, and various college humor stuff and other things. She was. I did watch Mindhunter, all of the series, and she is fantastic. Genuinely, I think we've got a solid Tess on our hands. Mindhunter is one of those like 70s FBI shows where they're trying to, find out what serial killers are and the motives, how they do it, so they can try and catch serial killers in the future. And the show is very much based on like the actors and like the acting. Not much happens in the show apart from the actors' performances. And yeah, she is solid. So I think she's going to make a good test from what I've seen anyway.
Excellent.
Nice.
Yeah, fantastic. I don't really have much to say about the actress playing Tess because I haven't really watched anything else that she's been in, unfortunately.
Yeah, no, I think that's going to be like one of the exciting things as well, because there's going to be questions as to how they're going to pull it off, how they're going to fit the role. But yeah, there's definitely a lot of people in here that I just haven't seen a lot of their stuff, so I'm just going to have to wait to be, see how they do it. But yeah, no, I'm keen for it. But yeah, she also does various voices in the Heavenly Sword game series. I don't know if that's up anyone's street at all.
I've never heard of Heavenly Sword.
But no,
I've never heard of it.
I might have done.
Mate, you're a pro gamer. Come on.
Whoa. Link below, please. So there's a new character I've heard a little bit about, and that's a character of Kathleen, I believe.
Right.
Yeah.
Not a game character, but is being introduced into the series.
She looks like Rose from 2.5 Men. Is that Rose from 2.5 Men?
I didn't. To be fair, I wasn't. I haven't seen it in her bio, but maybe.
I'm gonna Google.
If she looks familiar, yeah, have Google, mate. See if but yeah, her career goes back like 30 odd years, so she's definitely been around the industry for ages. But yeah, we've got a new character called Kathleen. All I've read without spoiling too much here is that she's a ruthless leader of a revolutionary movement in Kansas City. There's maybe even an implication here that her and her bandits have kind of, or I don't know if they're bandits or not, but her and her movement have pushed Fedra out of the city, and Fedra are basically a military organization, basically a branch of the military that's kind of stayed after the pandemic hit there. So yeah, I'm keen to see where it goes. I don't know if she's going to be a good character, a bad character.
Is this movement maybe like a spin-off from the Fireflies, or with Marlene in it, do you think the Fireflies are very much still present in the TV show?
I would imagine the Fireflies are still up and strong. Whether Kathleen's related to that, or whether it's because America is a big place, and I would imagine that a lot of communities and kind of people got together to try and fight Fedra or the Fireflies or just general bandits and stuff like that. So it sounds to be like one of those people who have kind of led their community to take the city or be in control of the city or push back whether it's for good or bad, I guess we'll need to see. But yeah, a new character on the scene. It'd be interesting to see how they
Nice.
come into it.
Yeah.
I'd just like to confirm that is Rose from 2.5 Men.
Thank you, Drew.
Oh, is it? Yeah.
Thank you.
And there we go. It's Rose
And
from
there we
2.5
go,
Men.
guys.
And I brought it up at the start of the conversation. I know people would have been holding on to see if it was Rose or not. Can confirm that is Rose from 2.5
You're
Men.
doing the Lord's work, Drew. You really are.
I've also potentially ruined it for myself because IMDb also shows you how many episodes they're in.
Oh.
So...
Oh.
Oh.
I may have spoiled it a little bit for myself. So-
God.
Somewhere between 1 and 10. We'll leave that.
Yeah. Nice. Shall we move over to the Millers?
Yeah, let's get the let's roll through. I mean, most of the characters are probably going to be quick whistle stops now. So Sarah Miller.
Spoilers. Yeah.
Sarah Miller, played by Nico Parker. Yeah, she's. I mean, Sarah Miller's a young girl being played by a young girl. She's. I think she's only had credits from like 2019ish. Dumbo in 2019, Reminiscence, and The Third Day, which is a series as well. I haven't seen anything there. But yeah,
Up and coming.
Up and coming. So yeah, I mean, what a show to start your kind of like kind of get out there further. It's definitely gonna get the career going. So yeah, I don't know. Yeah, no, that's. I don't really have any thoughts either way on that. To be honest, I'm sure they'll be good.
Makes you have a long roll.
Yeah, makes you have a long roll. Makes you be in season 2. Okay, right.
In a
Tommy
flashback.
Miller.
In a flashback. Yep.
So yes, Tommy Miller, played by Gabrielle Luna, starred in Terminator: Dark Fate, Agents of Shield, are the two ones that I recognised. There are others, and they do have other things as well. But yeah, no. So I haven't seen any of his stuff personally. But yeah, the guy who played Tommy Miller in the games, Jeffrey Pierce. He will be in the series, but he'll be playing a new character, Perry. So I don't know who Perry is. I don't know what Perry does. I don't know how Perry is. I just know he's a new character in the series. So yeah.
Trying to Daryl Dixon it with all these new characters.
Oh,
It's making me
risky.
nervous.
Risky game.
I do have a thought on why it's a good thing they're bringing in new characters, but I'll go after that in the when we get on to
In
that.
the what is
Just
worried
want
about
to-
part.
No. What I'm excited about for that, but anyway. So yeah, Riley Abel appearing in the DLC of the game. I don't really know which characters are going to come up first or later, but yeah, Storm Reed as Riley Abel, previously starred in Euphoria, and also we've got Bill, played by Ron Swanson, Nick Offerman.
Yeah,
I think he's going to absolutely nail it.
he will nail that part.
I love Nick Offerman. He's great. And he's got that perfect demeanor for Bill, hasn't he? They're just like, don't take any shit kind of, yeah. Kind of that cold. He can play that cold character pretty well. Like doesn't give a shit. So
Riley Abel being in the show, I wasn't a huge fan of the expansion pack.
Why's that?
Is that what it was?
The DLC.
No, I didn't. The DLC, thank you. I just wasn't too bothered by it.
Was it because
Nathan, I
it
think you was a fan.
didn't maybe add much to the overarching story? Did you find, or was it?
It didn't have Joel in it, mate.
It's because it was a flashback, wasn't it? Let's all be
It was
honest.
a flashback. I don't like flashback.
He doesn't
It's
like flashbacks
boring.
so much. He wanted a refund on a free DLC that he got. No.
I don't like flashback.
to be fair, it was like a very, if you think about the actual narrative, it was like a side story. Like they were exploring the mall. They were, just kind of playing around. It's basically just like a day out for them messing around.
That I don't need to know about.
But yeah,
What did we learn from it?
Yeah, no, to be fair, yeah, I can see like it wasn't like a kind of big, it wasn't an adventure, it was just like a little side thing.
A waste of my time. That's what it was.
Whoa.
No, fair enough.
Whoa.
I mean,
So when Riley Abel's character turns up in the show, I'm not going to be happy about doing this podcast.
Drew will go missing for one episode because it'll be the episode.
I'd be a bit bored of it. I'm just gonna moan. So
no, fair enough, man. I did enjoy it, to be honest. I did like DLC, but I'm just a glutton for Last of Us content, to be honest. So yeah, If they're giving it out, then yeah, I'll take it. Yeah, so I think there's a few more actors, but those are the main ones. I think someone's got a credit as like the guy who gets disemboweled or something.
Nice, nice.
Bud Chasky, who's an actor, plays Man Being Eaten.
Oh, by what? Oh,
We can look out. We can look out for that. So, what a credit to have on your
resume.
IMDb. I got 8 on screen. Yeah, it's
I
great.
played Man Getting Eaten. Oh, that was you. So,
Oh my God.
before we move on, does anyone have any other points that they'd like to bring up in regards of, say, actors, directors?
What I would say with the director side of things is, even though Neil Druckmann hasn't done, I've looked through his IMDb. I might be wrong about this, but just looking through, I can't see any film on here. It's mainly just been game stuff with Naughty Dog. But I suppose he's got all that experience doing the cinematics, which is really, you are directing cinematics in game, and they are directing the mocap actors. So with the help from the director, I don't think it's going to be too much of a jump for him to go from like game cinematics to actual film. Because he's still directing it in the same way that he would, the mocap actors in the studio. So, yeah, no, I think.
Do you think it's easier to direct a film, a TV show, or do you think it's easier to direct a video game?
I suppose, yeah, maybe a video game, but I'll be honest, I don't know what, because a director has a lot of stuff to do, everything from the lighting to the sound to the this to the that to the, yeah. So
a video game is easier. Let's be honest.
Yeah,
I mean, while we're beating around the bush here, you have a suit with a couple of ping pong balls on it, and the background's copy and paste. All right, it's simple.
Put them in a green screen.
Put them in a green screen. That's it. Run it all you want. You're not sitting there worrying about losing daylight or the ivy falling off the walls, because that's all green screen. A video game is so much more easy to direct.
Yeah, but yeah, I can see that. So yeah, but I think with Craig's help, that'll give him, the nudge he needs and the experience he needs to answer any questions that he doesn't know. So yeah, it doesn't strike me as there being a problem here, just from the people that I've seen and the directors I've seen. So yeah, I'm excited. So yeah, I think that's all the stuff that I can find really on the actors and the director side of things.
Excellent. So overall, you're excited. Is there anything else you're excited about for the show?
For the show.
For the show, the overarching show. I'm kind of guessing what I'm asking, like, what are you excited to maybe hopefully see? What are you kind of hopes to see from the show? Anything you don't want to see from the show? Flashbacks, we got that, obviously, from Drew. Yeah.
Damn it. Crash that 5-minute rant off me, this.
Yeah. Nip that right in the bud.
Go on, Dave, you start.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, no, I do have one point about the new characters coming in, and that is what I'm genuinely excited about. I don't think it's going to be a negative. I think it's going to be a positive, because Last of Us is on film rather than game this time. I think there's going to be, like, it just means there's so much more possibilities as to how the characters like Joel and Ellie interact with the other characters, how they interact with the enemies that they're fighting, whether it be like the zombies and clickers or the bandits that they're fighting as well. Because think about it, when you're playing the game, outside of the cinematics, when you're playing the story, you're kind of limited to the movement and the actions of the game. But when you've got the film as well, the characters can interact a lot more. They can talk. They're like the bandits that you just kind of walk through and kill, and they have like the same reactions and stuff like that. This time, when they're on their journey, you can have different interactions. They can have more personalities to them. That's why they can bring in these characters, so they can build on those experiences that the game kind of just you're kind of stuck in a box of controls, and you can't really go outside of that. But I think the film's going to go outside and explore that a bit further. So I think that, to me, that's exciting. A bit more kind of interacting with the world that because of how games are,
You're limited by the characters you play as, whereas now on the TV show, they might have an episode where they give us a break from Joel and Ellie as they're kind of traipsing their way through America, and it'll be the worst reviewed episode of the entire series.
I suppose as well, like what Nathan was saying is that it will open up potential story arc to open up different storylines in different directions.
Spin-offs,
like you say, or maybe spin-offs, but like you could start following a Firefly or something like that. It can open up story arcs. And this is what happened with The Walking Dead, where in my opinion they completely ruined it.
Mm.
They just have all these story arcs of characters that no one really cares about, and all these characters you don't care about get an hour's episode of them, and it's just
Feeling sad.
shit.
Well,
Yeah.
Nothing happens for like 6 episodes, and it's like, oh, season finale, yeah, we're all back together again now, and now we're gonna go fight the bad guy. It's like, well, waste my time. Just fuck off. Stick to the 4 main protagonists and just let them be. Just chill out.
they did. I think they did comment on that. I think I forget whether it was Craig Mazin or one of the people involved in the show. They did comment on The Walking Dead, and they were like, we don't want one of those shows that just goes on forever. We want like a show, and we want a middle, and we want an ending. And you know, we want to be able to like put it together well, and then end it well, rather than just let it like persist. And I think they did mention Walking Dead there, so it's striking that balance, isn't it? Because in the game, you see an enemy, and they just pull out the gun and shoot you, and that's the interaction you have with them. But in the film, you know, like it could be a bit more complicated. They could start talking. You know, there'd be a bit of deception going on. They might get tricked more often by people, like the bandit that you almost run over in Pittsburgh. Yeah. So yeah, no, it's I'm excited to see where they go and what characters they chuck in and see if it adds to it. So fingers crossed.
Do you know what I'd like
what are you
to?
keen for?
I'm very keen for. I know I know we shouldn't really refer to the video games lots and lots, but in the very first part of the first game, where like the apocalypse is just kicking off, everything's
Outbreak Day.
going crazy. Yeah, thank you. Outbreak Day.
Yeah.
I want to see more on the Outbreak Day and the 20-year time jump that happens in the first half an hour of the game. A lot of people forget that there's a first time jump of 20 years from when we first meet Joel and then we get to play as Joel. 20-year time gap. I want to see more civilization crumbling. I want to see more apocalyptic events happening. I want to see how Pittsburgh turned into the state that it is in the game, not in real life. But I just want to kind of live more in the world that I've really grown to like really appreciate in these 2 games, and just spend as much time as possible kind of building up to Joel meeting Ellie. If Joel met Ellie at the end of episode 1, that episode being what, an hour and 40 minutes, I wouldn't be mad with that. I get to build up a bond with Joel, get to see what he's all about. I get to see everything he's kind of gone through the last 20 years with his brother, which they only really touch upon a little bit in the games. And then just meet Ellie and be like, oh, this is Ellie. Then she'll be like, oh, geez, Joel, and that's it. Perfect episode. I'm happy.
I think you're right. I think they've got when the game first came out, the whole thing that gripped everyone was that first part of the game, the first half hour of the game. You had the Outbreak Day, which happened, and you saw that, and that was quite like traumatic, seeing all that driving through, everything kicking off. Then we have one of the most traumatic events in a game.
You were
since-
speechless the next day I spoke to you.
course,
And I was like, you're right, Drew. He had the 1,000-yard stare on. I was like, Jesus Christ.
I thought nothing could be topped of Dom's wife dying in Gears of War 2.
Oh, God.
Oh, that was.
This absolutely trumps that. I was gobsmacked. So I really hope. I think if they can portray that in the TV show, that will keep a new audience invested, because to have that in a game,
It's such a good hook early on.
yeah. If they can portray that really well in a TV show, that's going to be fantastic. I don't think they're going to focus too much on the 20-year gap because it's not in the games, but I do think there'll be a lot of flashbacks.
Whee!
to
I suppose if they've
Joel and
got,
Tommy and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, if they've got Anna Williams in it, then that would suggest that they are going to be dealing with that prior to.
It's going to wind me up having flashbacks of Ellie, because I don't need to see Ellie walking around in a nappy. Ellie's already 14. She's born during the outbreak. When the outbreaks happen, she's born during it. So I don't see what relevance there is of an Ellie flashback. But I do think the first episode will end with them meeting Ellie.
Yeah, because I think that any flashback, if they do it, where Ellie is younger, is going to be in the quarantine and probably exploring Anna's and Marlene's relationship. I think in terms of like giving over Ellie, separating Ellie, Anna's saying, look, you need to make sure she's safe. I can't look after her. Can you sort things out? I think maybe they're going to flesh that out a bit, maybe, because they were friends. And especially when you go through the game as well, you see the notes of their relationship and the promises that Marlene made to Anna. So I think there might be a bit of that. So we might be like pre-apocalypse, or pre-pandemic, even pre-outbreak day, moving into kind of earlier quarantine days in Boston, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, I do want to see Outbreak Day. I think that will be good.
That'll be
sick,
the hook. That'll be a huge part of it all.
But also the visuals. I mean, I think me and Nathan have spoken about this ages ago, but just like the scenery of a post-apocalyptic world from the trailer of this show and even in the game, it just looks so good. All like the overgrowth and the weeds and complete side note, and this isn't a spoiler. And also, if you haven't seen the game or played the game, you may stick around for this. Do you think the giraffes will show up in the TV show?
Absolutely.
Do you think? Because it is an iconic moment.
Yep, absolutely.
Oh, yeah, they'd have to bring it in, surely.
Yeah, I think so. But
that's one of the main. Yeah, that's one of the main moments.
Yeah. Anyway,
Yeah, no, I think. Yeah, I think we'll have that. I mean, like, I think they'll definitely give nods to the game. Like they've already, in the trailer, when you see the kind of, they've got like a long shot of Boston, when they're kind of moving out, and in the background you see the skyscrapers. One's collapsed into another one, and that's exactly how it is in the game. So they're definitely giving nods and stuff like that. So I think for the geekier game people, I think when we go through this, I think there's definitely gonna be a few nods and be like, oh my god, that was in the game.
But in that same breath, they've kind of copied it directly from the game. You told me, and I've read, and it's been confirmed that spores aren't going to be a thing in the TV show.
Yeah, so obviously in the game, the infection is fungal spores, and that's how is it cordyceps?
Correct. Well done.
And that's what the clickers have got. Clickers have got all this fungal growth all over them. So in the game, you have to wear gas masks to avoid the spores, but apparently that's now not going to be a thing. So it's going to be, is it still fungus, but fungus by touch? So they reach out and then they touch you, and that is how you become infected.
I'm wondering whether it's because I think is it like transferred by blood maybe, or like fluid?
No, it's what was it?
Ingested or something. I think like, if you get bitten, then it's game over.
Why do you think they did this?
I don't know.
Do you know what I think it is?
Go on.
Honestly, I think it's because if there's spores around, the characters will have to wear gas masks or cover their face, and it's not visually.
Well, not all of them, but I get what you're saying.
But you don't want to listen to people having a conversation behind gas masks going, I can't, Ellie, get down! It's all muffled, you can't see anyone. But, yeah, I'm trying to find out what is now going to be used, but I'm pretty sure it's now like you touch it, the fungus
eventually these conversations led us to these tendrils, and just thinking about how there's a passage that happens from one infected to another, and like fungus does, it could be a network that is interconnected.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, so it's kind of how it plays on screen then. Okay.
Yeah, they've been the spores have been replaced by tendrils. There we are. It's based on the idea that fungi can communicate through electrical signals, which they can.
So I'm reading the same article you are.
Yeah.
But that clip there as well is the first scene of a bloater that we get.
Is it really?
That's a bloater.
And for anyone who doesn't know what a bloater is, or what a clicker is, newly infected, or what are the weird little hunter ones that used to absolutely ruin me in part 2.
Stalkers.
Oh, mate.
Part 2, aren't they, stalkers?
Oh, gosh. Horrible things.
So, I mean, wait, before we even plan to do this, we haven't even discussed the enemies, but should we leave that for another one, do you think?
I think leave that for another one. I think once we actually get eyes on one, and how they kind of,
as they turn up, we talk about them as they turn up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I mean, you mentioned about bloater. We've got clickers, runners.
Infected.
Yeah, and it sounds like they're going to show them in a slightly different way, like how they're going to infect others. Are they just going to trip them up, or are they going to give them a kiss? I don't know.
But no, I won't say because it kind of gives it a bit of a way. So we'll find out more after the first season. We can discuss that, I think. So sorry, I'll leave that out.
Well done, Drew. You beat your tongue. Well done. Fantastic.
It's growth, that is. It's growth.
Yeah.
They made it in time. That's very nice.
Good tendril, mate. Growth. Good tendrils. That's good. That's good. So does anyone else have anything else they'd like to bring up before we kind of wrap up episode 0 of the podcast of us?
I am extremely excited. I just hope they can portray the storytelling of the which made the game so great. I just hope they can get that across in the TV show. I have high expectations. I am extremely excited. I think they're going to do well. I'm really confident in it. I'm really excited about it, but I do think it's going to be good.
Yeah, I'm feeling optimistic. I mean, they've got great source material, and they don't have it like by all means adapt it to make what works on the show. But all they need to do is just not divert from what makes it great. Like if they make too many changes, like I always think, just if you're going to change something so much, and just make something else. Make a new IP or make a different Last of Us story. But here they're adapting it. I'm feeling positive about it. So yeah, I'm hyped. I'm hyped and ready. Yeah.
Excellent.
How about yourself, Matt?
I am excited. I'm a bit torn in two with the whole sticking to the source material, because I've already played the games. I know how it's going to end if that's the case. I want them to vary off the path just enough to keep it interesting, but like you say, not so much that we get introduced to all these brand new characters, spin-offs, characters I don't care about, getting entire episodes dedicated to them, which I get has to happen sometimes. But yeah, I'm quietly.
There'll be a spin-off in 3 years and be called Last of Them.
Oh, the First of Us, and it all will be how it came. There you go.
Oh God! Don't give them ideas. Fuck.
Neil, call me. Call me.
Hola.
Hola, how about your boy?
Neil.
Link below. Let me know. I've got some good ideas. So before we wrap up, if anyone else is interested in The Last of Us, where can they watch it?
I believe in the UK it is on Sky Atlantic or Now TV, I believe. And if we're lucky enough to have anyone in the US watching or listening, I believe it's on HBO.
Fantastic. Excellent. Guys, thank you so much for joining us for episode 0 of our brand new show, The Podcast of Us. When is our next episode coming out? Absolutely perfect question. We are going to be recording that live on Tuesday at 7:30 over on my Twitch channel, which will be linked below, twitch.tv/MatthiasPlayers. Drew, thank you for joining. Anything else you'd like to say before we say goodbye?
Yeah, that live stream on the Tuesday, will that then be thrown up onto YouTube?
Absolutely, under the same name of Matthias Players. Would you like to throw it over to Drew B.Licious' channel as well, Drewdaism?
If you're interested in motorcycle content, please follow me on YouTube, Drewdaism. It's bloody fantastic, and I'm completely underrated. But whatever, I'll let you be the judge of that.
And Nathan, where can guys find anything out about you?
Yeah, if you're interested in nothing, if you're interested in haven't done anything online here.
Nathan's on the stream most times and has also frequented the YouTube channel below as well.
I'm on the stream. I'm about. I like The Last of Us, and I'll try and do something in the future. I know. I'll keep you posted.
Excellent stuff.
Instagram, Nate. You have an Instagram post every now and then.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm Victory__ Nathan, but I haven't done anything for a while. But maybe I'll have some Last of Us diorama content maybe at some point soon. We'll see.
I cannot wait.
Talk about that as well. You can start sharing some photos of that. That is some serious shit.
I'll aim to have that. You know what? I'm going to aim to have that done by the end of the episode. So nice. It's taking so long, guys. It's taking so long. But yeah, I'll try and get that sorted so we can have that all things Last of Us.
Excellent. Thank you very much, guys. And thank you for listening and or watching. And we will see you in the next episode of The Podcast of Us.
Hey, Matt, can I sign us out?
Of course you can.
Thanks, everyone, for listening. This may not be the last of you, but currently, this is the last from us. See you next time.